name is Vincent Schilling, and this is Myths and Atrocities about Columbus and Columbus Day. I originally wrote this article, been shared over 100,000 times, and a lot of people have asked for the sources of this article, and I'm putting all those links in the description below. This video is not for the young ones. There are some very disturbing accounts that are very, let's just say, adult related. Columbus Day is the second Monday of October every year, and some communities celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, but we're going to be talking about Columbus Day, the man who supposedly discovered the United States. And Columbus Day was conceived by the Knights of Columbus, which was a Catholic fraternal organization in the 1930s because they wanted a Catholic hero. Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed the day into law as a federal holiday in 1937. A huge portrait of Columbus still sits in our nation's capital today. On the way, Columbus stole a sailor's reward. So after obtaining funding for his explorations to reach Asia, Columbus offered his fellow sailors that if they were to be the first ones to discover any sort of land on their journey that was funded by King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, he would offer them a huge reward, and this amount was 10,000 maravedis, which is about $540, and at that time was about a year's salary for a sailor. When another sailor saw the land in October of 1492, Columbus retracted the reward and said, no, the last evening I saw a dim light in the west, and therefore you don't get your reward, it goes to me. So the sailor didn't get it, even though Columbus said whoever finds it first will get that reward, and Columbus essentially took it back. Columbus never ever landed in the upper 48 states. Ever. Never made it anywhere above Florida, ever. Never even went into Florida or anywhere else. Columbus quite literally landed what we now know as the Bahamas, and later Hispaniola, present-day Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. He says, "As soon as I arrived in the Indies on the first island which I found, I took some of the natives by force in order that they might learn and might give me information of whatever there is in these parts." So he just took them by force. Columbus painted a horrible picture of otherwise peaceful natives. So when Columbus first saw the native Arawaks that came to greet him and his crew with a peaceful and admiring tone, these are his words. "They brought us parrots and balls of cotton and spears and many other things. They willingly traded everything they owned. They were well built with good bodies and handsome features. They do not bear arms and do not know them. For I showed them a sword. They took it by the edge and cut themselves out of ignorance. They have no iron. Their spears are made of cane. They would make fine servants. With 50 men we could subjugate them all and make them do whatever we want." So after several months of being there, Columbus's writings changed a little bit in order to appease those he was trying to, let's just say, they're funding his trip, so he's got to make it sound good for him. So he says, after several months being there, 2 natives were murdered during trading. So Columbus, who had otherwise described the natives as gentle people, wrote, "They are evil. I believe they are from the island of Caribbee, that they eat men." He also described them as savage cannibals with dog-like noses that drink the blood of their victims, and this is still taught in schools today. Columbus's men were rapists and murderers, and this is documented, not just an assertion. This account is by a close friend of Columbus who wrote the first disturbing account of a relation between himself and a native female gift given to him by Columbus. "When I was in the boat, I captured a very beautiful Carib woman, whom the said Lord Admiral gave to me, and with whom, having taken her into my cabin, she being naked according to their custom, I conceived desire to take pleasure. I wanted to put my desire into execution, but she did not want it, and treated me with her fingernails in such a manner that I wished I had never begun. But seeing that, to tell you the end of it all, I took a rope and thrashed her well, for which she raised such unheard of screams that you would not have believed your ears. Finally we came to an agreement in such a manner that I can tell you she seemed to have been brought up in a school of harlots. In addition to raping and taking the women at will, Columbus's men were also murderers, and there are several accounts by many different writings. Spaniards were testing the sharpness of their blades on native people by cutting them in half, beheading them in contests, throwing natives into vats of boiling soap, accounts of suckling infants being lifted from their mothers' breasts by Spaniards only to be dashed headfirst into large rocks. Bartolome de las Casas, a former slave owner who became bishop of Chiapas, described these exploits. He saw the atrocities and eventually changed his ways and was horrified by what he saw. And you can find many of his writings all over. So he says, "Such inhumanities and barbarisms were committed in my sight as no age can parallel. My eyes have seen these acts so foreign to human nature that I now tremble as I write." Columbus enslaved people for the pursuit of gold. So because he had told Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand that he'd be finding all this gold that he didn't find, essentially he was given 17 more ships and 1,200 men for his next expedition. However, he was unable to deliver, so he forced natives to work in gold mines until absolute exhaustion, and those who opposed were beheaded or had their ears cut off. They also had their hands cut off. In fact, during these expeditions, all persons over age 14 had to supply at least 1 thimble of gold every 3 months and were given copper necklaces as proof of their compliance. Those who did not fulfill their obligations had their hands cut off, which were tied around their necks while they bled to death. Some 10,000 native people died without hands. In 2 years' time, 250,000 Indians on Haiti were dead. Many deaths included mass suicides or intentional poisoning, or mothers killing their babies to avoid such persecution. In the words of Columbus, written a few years before his death, "Gold is the most precious of all commodities. Gold constitutes treasure, and he who possesses it has all he needs in the world, as also the means of rescuing souls from purgatory and restoring them to the enjoyment of paradise." Columbus provided sex slaves to his men, young girls as a matter of fact. In addition to putting natives to work as slaves in his gold mine, Columbus also sold sex slaves to his men, some as young as 9 years old. Columbus and his men raided villages for sex and sport. In the year 1500, Columbus wrote to a friend, "100 castellanos are as easily obtained for a woman as for a farm, and it is very general, and there are plenty of dealers who go about looking for girls. Those from 9 to 10 are now in demand." Those are Columbus's words. Columbus's men used native people as dog food. In the early years of Columbus's conquest, there were butcher shops throughout the Caribbean where Indian bodies were sold as dog food. Columbus and his men actually had hunts with these war dogs, and these war dogs were covered with armor. They were a fierce match for the native people, and it was terrible. And they were fed human flesh, and there are accounts of Columbus's men tearing babies out of horrified families' arms and throwing the babies to the dogs to watch them be torn to shreds. It's unimaginable.
Shalawam, I want to give all praise to YAHAWASHI, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, call Lord YAHAWASHI. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS, and peace and blessings be upon the elect, yasharahla. I just wanted to give a couple scriptures to expound on the video you just watched about Columbus, but I wanted to bring this scripture out to expound on it. This is Malachi 1 verse 4. It says, "Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts," or YAHAWAH, or the Lord of armies. It says, "They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the borders of wickedness," or the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. Right now, it's really self-explanatory. Esau is seriously the borders of wickedness. If you look in the video, it tells you the many atrocities or the many things that Esau have done against the children of Israel. And you know, in the video it tells you that basically our people were very comely. Esau's a he's a faggot, man. But he said our people are very comely and our people are very you know, friendly and things of that sort. But Esau took it to his advantage and used it against us, man. And that's why this devil has to be destroyed, man. They call it, the scriptures refer to Esau as the border of wickedness, man. This man came and he fed our women to dogs, or he fed our men, women, and children to dogs. You know, he raped young men and women, or young children, you know, from the ages of 9 to 10 for a girl, man. And it's not, yo, man, Esau is seriously wicked. There were women that were available that were older than that age. Esau is just a sick man. He's sick. He's the cancer, man. He's the cancer of this world. And that's why the scriptures say the physician cometh to cut off the long disease. You know, because YAHAWASHI, he's gonna come and he's gonna cut off Esau from being a nation after that 1,000-year period in the kingdom of heaven, man. But this is Ezekiel 35. Verse 5, it says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity and the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahawah by Shem Yahushai, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Saith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Right. It says, thus will I make Mount Seir, which we know if you read Genesis 36 verse 8, it tells you that Esau dwelt in Mount Seir. You know, Esau is Edom, and Edom dwelt in Mount Seir. It says, thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out and him that returneth. Right. Most High is really gonna destroy these niggas, man. The Most High is really gonna destroy Esau, because if you those things are to be remembered, and those things are really accounted for Esau, man. Just because the scriptures actually say that. The scriptures say we are born our father's iniquities, man. And Esau is born his father's iniquities. Isaiah 14 verse 2, Lamentations 5 verse 7. You know, those scriptures they apply to Esau, man. And those scriptures are gonna come to bite Esau in the ass, man. You know? And what does Galatians 6 verse 7 say? It says, what's it called? Whatever a man reapeth, he shall sow. Or whatever a man sow, he shall reap, man. So Esau sowed in all this wickedness, and he's gonna reap that, man. Esau is gonna get back everything he did, you know. Those calamities are gonna fall upon him, man. You think he just got a free ride? You know, we gonna go in the kingdom of heaven. It's all hunkadories. Everybody's gonna be holding hands in a circle, playing Ring Around the Rosie. Nah, man. The Most High is gonna destroy Esau for what he did, man, and the other nations, because the other nations played a part in it, man. You Spaniards, which you are Edomites, man. You damn gooks, all of you, man. All of you played a part in the enslavement of the children of Israel, man. You know. Or the bun yasharahla, you know, the bun shah yasharahla, you know, the sons of Israel, man. This is Baruch 4, verse I'll start at 14. It's so much on here, man. It says, I'll start at 14. It says, let them that dwell about Zion come, and remember ye the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting have brought upon them. Which we know the Most High brought those plagues upon us because we are wicked. But Esau, you shouldn't have put your hands on our people, man, because now you got to die for that. And the scriptures, we know the most famous scripture, you know, is Revelations 13 verse 9, you know. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword, Esau, you definitely killed our people with the sword, man, shall be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints, man. And that's what Yahawah Shem Yahushai is holding. We're being patient and waiting for Yahawah Shem Yahushai to come and recompense us, man. We're not taking actions into our own hands. We're waiting for Yahawah Shem Yahushai to do the due diligence, man. But right now we're working, we're praying to Yahawah Shai to bring forth that destruction upon Esau quicker and quicker, day by day, man. You know? But with, you know, I'm gonna end on that. On that note, I'm gonna just bring this real quick since I quoted it. I quoted the whole thing basically. This is Revelations 13 verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Those who can understand this. He that leadeth into captivity, captivity is slavery, shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword, Esau killed us with the sword, and this, you see it in the previous video. It says, must be killed with the sword, you know. It says, here's the patience and the faith of the saints. And with that, I'm going to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahashim Yahushai, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahushai, call all Yahawah Shmi Shai, the water Abnao Yahawah Shmi Shai. Double honors be upon the elders and apostles of GMS, and peace and blessings be upon the brothers that are really, really sincere, pushing this truth day in and day out, and not slacking, man. Shalawam.